Is it recording, Bobby?
We're recording, Adam. We're recording now. I wanted to bring in my beautiful wife on this episode of the show for the cold open because we had a fun Halloween story to tell you what happened to us in 2021.
I want to say something real quick. I've gotten a lot of fan feedback that everybody loves having Sarah on the show.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yes. Yes.
I got the same thing.
Thank you so much. I had no idea.
People like you, Sarah. You're likable. That's why you're here. That's why you're married to that guy.
Appreciate that so much. I need to hear that. Thank you.
I'm unlikable. She's likable. It's a perfect.
It's a good combo.
Fits like a glove.
Like
doesn't
a glove. It's like, snobby Bobby. It's like, I don't want to say it's all sympathy, but people are like, oh, they're very sympathetic to Sarah. Very sympathetic.
That's definitely it.
Has a lot to do with it. So anywho.
So Sarah, I'm going to let you take it away because you were there as an observer and I was there as a participant.
What are you talking about?
Halloween.
So what did he dress as this Halloween party?
So we had trick-or-treaters. We don't really do much for Halloween. I did dress up, however.
He dressed up and it was bad.
Bad?
Like bad.
Was there pictures? Why haven't I seen pictures?
Because
it was that bad.
Sarah wouldn't let me take pictures.
I wouldn't let him take pictures because I work in public education and I would get fucking fired.
What did you dress as, Bobby?
So I have no idea he's doing this. And I'm out back doing stuff in the garden. I've got the dogs. And Bobby says, I need you to come outside. There's more trick-or-treaters coming. So he has like his little like trick-or-treat station set up. He built like a little, there was a tub and there was a skull on fire. And
nice.
There's a cow head.
There was a cow head. He had his little bench set up.
We take Halloween seriously.
And I walk out and I see that there are gobs of kids walking around in the neighborhood. And there's a dad staring at Bobby. And so I'm like, why is that guy looking at my husband like that?
Right, yeah.
So I come out on the porch and I realize that Bobby has dressed like a giant fucking baby. He's wearing no clothes up top.
Why, you were topless?
And he had on, he took a towel and he had it was a fake 1950s baby
it was
thing.
Like, okay, so I took like
he had a rattle. He had a fucking rattle.
I took an adult diaper. And then I wrapped
like at the pins?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I wrapped a towel around that.
And then he was standing there, he was shirtless, dressed like a baby, and,
he had
a rattle.
I had one of those
bonnets.
Like bonnets on.
A baby bonnet,
What is a bonnet? That's weird.
It's a bonnet, yeah.
Yeah, he got it on Amazon. I was mortified.
You didn't tell her you were doing anything?
No. And then there were kids all over the neighborhood. Nobody's coming up. This dad looked at it. I was like, get inside and put on some fucking clothes. Like, I don't need the FBI here. You're dressed like you're just sitting out here by yourself just like a giant baby.
Legit.
It was so creepy.
I watched it happen. There were legitimate parents walking by our house with kids and the thing the parents do, they put their arm around their kids, don't go any further up the driveway there.
Yeah, so thanks to him.
Because I'm sitting there sitting I'm sitting on my ass, just rocking back and forth, shaking the rattle.
You really? Were you doing that? You're just in the yard baby want a bottle.
Yeah,
it's like a big giant mentally disabled man.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was a big giant creepy baby for Halloween this year. Sarah wouldn't take any pictures of it.
There's no pictures of this that exist?
No, it does not need to be out there.
There's definitely we're on a list right now.
Right.
And
the federal list.
Seriously, we had a lot of leftover candy because parents would not let their kids come up to our driveway because I'm a 6'5", 250-pound baby with chest
no
hair,
shirt,
shaking a rattle.
I was livid. So now when I walk the dogs in the neighborhood, people look at me. People never looked at me before when I walk the dogs. Now they look at me.
They know you're married to the fucking baby.
Yeah. So I almost just say, no, I'm running a group home. I want to put a thing out in our neighborhood, HOA, FYI, there's a group home.
There's a group home. There's crazy, mentally handicapped people living here.
Yeah, because prior to this, we had...
It only lasted, for an hour because Sarah was eventually you need to come inside right now. And I'm like, no, this is my Halloween costume. And we ended up getting rid of all the candy, though, after I changed out of the baby costume.
After I sat outside.
Yeah.
You
What
went
were you
inside,
dressed
and
as?
I sat. I was
A
dressed
normal
like a
human
normal
being.
human being. I had on
Okay.
my Ed Gein T-shirt,
Okay, there you
and
go.
kids came up and we talked about costumes, and I gave them candy.
And they're not scared away by the man
No.
baby.
No.
Dude, you told me you were going to dress as Link, and the fact that you went all out and wore a fucking diaper and a towel, and that's it? Oh my God.
I would show you the rattle, but she made me throw it away.
Bravo, Bobby. Bravo.
Thank
No,
you.
don't encourage it.
I am encouraging this. I'm endorsing this.
Now we're gonna have to put a sign on our door. No trick-or-treaters allowed.
Because a giant baby lives here.
Did you say like gaga goo goo?
Yeah, I was doing all that shit. I was rocking back and forth like on my tailbone. Like just shaking a rattle, had a bonnet on.
He was like
was
playing
like-
with his feet.
I was playing with my feet. I was trying to suck my toes and shit. No, I didn't try to suck my own toes, but all that happened.
But he was
And
he was
amazing.
playing with his. He was putting on a show on the lawn.
Yeah, and what I like to say to Sarah in these situations is like, I may be who I am, but at least I'm not the person that married me.
It gets me every time.
No shit, that is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard, Bobby. I'm so proud of your husband right now, Sarah. I'm so proud of him.
No, it really does. We'll be in the middle of like a serious fight, and then he throws that line out, and it always makes me laugh.
Yeah, hey,
Or I
he
start
is who he
dressing
is,
like a
but you
baby.
married his ass, yeah. For the fucking kids of the neighborhood. Dude, you like mortified children.
No, the children were fine with it. It was the parents that were
No, the
upset.
children were not fine with it.
The children were
There's
fine.
not a child that
The
walked
children
by
were
and
like,
thought
oh, that's
that's
just
funny.
that silly man that lives in that stucco home that dresses like a baby for Halloween. And I was like, gaga, goo goo.
Oh God, I'm so glad you didn't tell me this story before now.
No, we were saving it for you.
I'm about to die. All right, we're good.
Goo goo.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's amazing. Please.
I wish we had pictures, but Sarah, like, legitimately was like, please just take a picture so we can remember this forever. And she was like, I'm not fucking doing it. We're going to forget it.
Where's the picture? There's no picture.
There's no picture.
Oh, fuck.
It was upsetting. It's the only word I could think of. It was upsetting.
All right, that's what Halloween's all about, Sarah.
No, Halloween is not about being upset. It's supposed to be creepy. It's supposed to be scary. It's shocking. Like this was upsetting.
This was shocking. This was shocking.
What's more creepy or shocking than a fucking 6'5" grown-ass man sitting on his ass, rocking back and forth saying gaga goo goo, playing with his feet? That is shocking and creepy to levels that are beyond a fucking pumpkin mask.
I'm like,
okay?
I'm
That's
like,
what I mean. It's upsetting.
I'm
It goes
sleeper cell
beyond that.
hardcore.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
weren't expecting that, were
I
you?
wasn't expecting that at all, Bobby. You fucking really impressed me. You blew my Halloween away.
Thrill me. Good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
Adam, I'm not gonna say it because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm gonna let you say it.
Right, what am I saying? What we just did right now?
No. Well, the reason we're all together tonight.
So tonight, it's Bobby's birthday. We're finishing this recording on November the 18th of 2021, which is Bobby's 48th birthday. So,
Yes.
how you feeling? How you feeling on this birthday?
I'm not gonna lie. It's just been you, me, and my wife tonight, and we've had a great time. I advertised, hey, come over tonight. We'll finish the episode, and we're gonna feed you fajitas.
We had fajitas.
And we had fajitas, and then we what happened after that?
Well, we had fajitas, and we realized once we had those fajitas, that was nowhere near enough fajitas for us to imbibe. So we ordered more fajitas. And then we ordered those fajitas, then an hour later, the fajitas still hadn't showed up. So I canceled that order of fajitas and ordered a third order of fajitas. And then I was like, I don't know if I trust this one, so just to be safe, I ordered a fourth order of fajitas.
All from different restaurants.
Different restaurants.
And different delivery services.
So we ended up with 3 fajitas from different places.
3 out of
tonight.
4 attempts.
Hey, 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
I'm
you know?
feeling fat and sassy. We've been drinking the RJ McCready J&B all evening.
The official whiskey of RJ is J&B.
Speaking of Kurt Russell, you know who doesn't get to celebrate a birthday this year?
Who?
The woman that Alec Baldwin murdered recently.
Oh. I wouldn't call that murder.
Well, you know, it's still up in the air now, isn't it?
I mean, I don't think he did it on purpose.
I hope not, Adam.
Wait, are you one of those anti-Baldwin guys?
I don't know anything about Alec Baldwin other than he has some good movies.
He has some great fucking Miami Blues, bro. I am pro Alec Baldwin.
But he's like a real dick in real life.
I mean, it's not like he's
Like
shooting cinematographers.
Enough to the point where he might murder a cinematographer.
I mean, you know, I would think.
I'll say this: of all the Hollywood icons that have murdered people, I prefer John Landis over Alec Baldwin.
I mean, I would say so, yeah. Just because of
and
American
then
Wolf
Matthew
alone.
Broderick's right below those two.
Nah, yeah. Alec Baldwin is definitely above Matthew Broderick on my list of Hollywood actor, famous people killers.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. It goes John Landis, then Alec Baldwin, and then Matthew Broderick. And I'm just giving Matthew Broderick even a play in the game.
Because it's the next one I can think of.
Well, yeah, but that and Election and Ferris Bueller. And other than that, Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick had the Cable Guy.
Okay. Yeah.
He had and then he was in Godzilla.
I knew we were going to bring that up.
We'll move on. Let's
move on.
Alec Baldwin murdered a woman recently. It's very weird news.
Yeah.
It made us restructure our entire hierarchy of Hollywood icons that have murdered people.
Yeah, I did. You got up in there, Alec, real quick. You got to second place with a fucking bullet. Got there with a bullet, baby.
Hey!
The story goes, I read the article on the internet, so it's obviously true. He shot through the director and then also shot the DP, the director of photography. Yeah. And that's the one who died.
There's just too many, there's too much weirdness there for me to just think that it was maybe Alec Baldwin didn't mean to murder this woman.
Right.
But perhaps it was Brandon Lead in some way where they set him up to...
Yeah. It was the Republicans. They set him up.
Yes.
The Trumpies set him up to kill somebody so Donald Trump Jr. could sell T-shirts.
Yes.
I mean, I would not be surprised by all of that. I don't think Alec Baldwin... It's not like the Matthew Broderick thing.
They split the profits with the Clinton family.
Right. It's not like the Matthew Broderick thing where he's like, I'm drunk in Ireland and Irish lives don't matter. And it's not like the John Landis where like I'm going to grossly, misappropriate the time of children in the middle of the night and just explode shit and kill them.
Irish lives don't matter was like a pretty scary movement in the 1880s or whatever it was.
It's a strong hashtag there. I mean, you know what the Irish do? I mean, I don't know if they do anymore. I've never been to Ireland.
Drink?
Well, yeah, which I respect, like my grandma who was Irish. They blow each other up. Over Jesus.
That's all over though.
They blow each other up over Jesus.
No, that was just political, and then they co-opted into the church thing.
That was like 20 years ago, dude.
Making it about Jesus is all pure propaganda to get people to blow each other up.
It was the Protestants and the Catholics. They both loved Jesus and wanted to blow each other up.
Okay, Adam, you like roast beef sandwiches. I like roast beef sandwiches, and we both wish each other would die in our sleep. However, we also don't wish that. So that has nothing to do with roast beef sandwiches.
I stumbled upon a new religion recently in my mind. It's called the Bathatarian movement.
Oh, this is in your mind. This is a new world premiere of your new religion.
Sure. So the Bathatarians, they like baths, right? And I thought this was like an original idea, and I did some research, and it turns out
You're
it
a big
wasn't.
bath guy, aren't you?
I'm a big bath guy. My problem is... I'm like you, Bobby. You're bigger than me, but I'm a big dude, 6'1". I can't really find a tub that I fit into. Like when I find a tub that's like all that sticks out's my neck, I'm never getting out of that fucking thing. Like bubbles all the way up to the fucking brim. Like I want bubbles in my beard.
Well, I just vomited underneath the desk here, so thanks for that birthday image for.
You're welcome.
On the Not for Everyone podcast.
The point is, I had this idea, Bathatarian. I thought it was an original idea, and I did some research, and like. Apparently, Bathatarianism has existed for many, many years. It even like had an offshoot, the Southern Baptists, and then at some point the Baptists.
You're making all this up.
The Bathatarians.
What was my time on that one? What did I clock in on to call out that this is all horse shit?
It's not important. But they had like a whole holy war, right? And there was like blood in the tubs all over Eastern Europe, and that is why they invented showers.
And this is why we got rid of Adam's Corner on the Not For Everyone podcast. This is episode 108-ish. My name is Snobby Bobby. Right,
Why are we doing the intro? We've already done like fucking 3/4 of this episode.
right in front of me is Crude Rude Dude, Pork Chop Moon Man. And who could forget, of course, the Merchant of Besmirchment.
Also the Lieutenant of Danger. You've been paying attention.
Let's go to movie recap.
Wait, we're doing movie recap? All right.
Oh, the sweet leaf cough.
Yeah, so I watched the Salem's Lot, Bobby. Watch Salem's Lot.
One of the great Toby Hooper made-for-TV, and probably the only Toby Hooper made-for-TV movie.
Probably so. I honestly, I saw it when I was a kid because it was a TV show and it came out over the years. It came out like 79, and over the years they would re-release it on TV. And I remember seeing it as a kid, and it freaked me out in the 80s because it's like a little kid like floating up to the window and tapping, and then the vampire looks like Nosferatu. It's fucking badass.
He's like he's blue Nosferatu.
He's a Nosferatu, yeah, exactly. And so I hadn't seen it since like the 80s, and I watched it the other day, and I didn't even realize fucking Toby Hooper made it. Totally didn't realize it was a Toby Hooper film.
Now, is there, like, I agree with you. I think it's, what is that, 82?
79.
Oh, wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was way off there, but yeah, Salem's Lot, directed by Toby Hooper. I guess it's one of his earlier works then.
I mean, it was after Chainsaw Massacre and Eaten Alive and that kind of shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But
pre-Poltergeist, though.
I would argue that is, if not the best, definitely in the top 3 made-for-TV movies ever made.
Yeah, I would honestly say, I mean,
Lonesome Dove, maybe, is on that list.
Real good, real good. It's better than It.
It is better than It.
It's better than
Salem's
It.
Lot is way better than It.
You know who directed It?
Mick Garris.
Was it?
I don't know.
It's either Mick Garris, like, yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
I don't think it was.
It's not the point.
The It miniseries is too good to
You know who directed it?
Directed by Mick Garris.
You know who directed It? It wasn't fucking Toby Hooper. That's who it was.
Yeah, so go yourself, guy that directed It.
We're going to be in dicks. This is somebody
Nobody
we love.
cares about the second half of It.
That's the thing.
We've talked about this before, Adam.
It was, you know who directed it? Tommy Lee Wallace.
Oh, I love Tommy
We
Lee
love
Wallace.
Tommy Lee Wallace. We can't be mean to Tommy Lee.
I'd like to apologize to Tommy Lee Wallace
We're
officially,
sorry.
but also Mick Garris, keep trying.
You know, and here's the thing. Like, it wasn't Tommy Lee Wallace's fault that the second half of It sucks. Like, the first half...
It was Stephen King's fault.
It's Stephen King's fault. Let's be mad at Stephen King. Now, he also wrote Salem's Lot. It was a 3-hour-long movie. It's got the guy from fucking Starsky and Hutch. It's got Hutch as the main guy. It's got a weird vampire. Go watch it. So this set me on one of those rabbit holes I like to go to, right, where I'll watch everything in a particular franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to follow up Salem's Lot with The Return to Salem's Lot. Written by and directed by one of our favorites, Larry Cohen. We love Larry Cohen. The Stuff. What's the other one? It's Alive. All that great shit.
Hugh the Winged Serpent.
God literally told me to kill you, but I'm not going to do it. 'Cause it's your birthday. Because it's your birthday.
Yeah, a Larry Cohen joke.
Yeah. A Return to Salem's Lot is dog shit.
I honestly don't remember. Is
It's terrible.
Is it some like famous teeny bopper in that movie, like Tara Reid or someone like that? When
I
they were
don't
real
think
young?
so. I don't think so.
Hold
It's
on,
just-
I gotta look that up.
It's just bad. The dialogue is bad. It's just dumb. It's got Michael Moriarty, and I love Michael Moriarty from The Stuff.
Are you talking trash on Michael Moriarty?
No,
movie?
I love him, but it's
Larry Cohen directed him in The Stuff.
I know, and we love that. But A Return to Salem's Lot is nowhere near as good as The Stuff.
It's one of those like let's milk this kind of sequels. I honestly
But
don't.
it's not even that, because Larry Cohen is Larry Cohen. Like, he decided on his own to make a sequel to Salem's Lot.
Larry Cohen is not in it to make quality films.
I know, but
He's in it to make film, and like he's like a punk rock Roger Corman.
I am not talking shit about Larry Cohen. I love what the man does. But
Tara Reid was in Return to Salem's Lot. Is that what I said earlier?
yeah.
Yeah.
Who was she?
Amanda is her name in the movie.
She was the little girl. No shit.
Yeah, Tara Reid from what is that?
So I also watched another show, which turns out to be another Stephen King based on thing. This is actually based on the short story called Jerusalem's Lot, which is a prequel to Salem's Lot.
Oh.
It's a show starring Adrian Brody called Chapelwaite. So I love Adrian Brody. You know why? Because of the Predators movie. Where Adrian Brody plays Arnold Schwarzenegger. Love that movie.
I always feel like when I imagine Adrian Brody, I don't know what this is from. There's got to be a movie, but the first image that comes into my mind is a soot-covered man during World War II.
Yeah. He's got that look. Like, you don't know whether
it's a very specific look.
I don't know whether he's French.
Covered in soot during World War II.
I don't know whether he's Belgian. I don't know if he's like from fucking Ohio. I don't know, but he's just a dirty, soot-covered man. Yeah. And so in this show,
amongst rubble, as one would be in Ohio.
Exactly. So this show, it's a show. It's on the Epix rental channel, like fucking, I guess it's like a Showtime. I don't know. But it's on there. It's called Chapelwaite. And it's like this guy moves into his ancestral home, and he's sent there. You know, his dead cousin invites him after his death. He's like, "Hey, I'm leaving the house to you." Turns out the dead cousin's a vampire. The whole place is infested with fucking vampires.
I like what I hear so far.
It's pretty fucking legit. It's new. It came out this year. It was good. It was very enjoyable. I think they kind of shit the bed on the end. I'm not going to get into it too much.
Please don't.
But Adrian Brody is great. And so...
Is this one of those long-ass shows?
It was like 10 episodes.
Oh, I love it. It ends, though. It's not coming back.
Nope, not coming back.
All
That's
right,
it.
I will watch that.
It's like a limited series, Chapelwaite. So I really enjoyed it. I say Salem's Lot's 1, Chapelwaite's 2, or Return to Salem's Lot is a very, very distant third.
What's better? What's the stupid cat one directed by Mick Garris?
Sleepwalkers.
What's better, Sleepwalkers or Return to Salem's Lot?
Dude, I think those two have like the top contender for the worst Stephen King movie.
Oh, no.
They're bad.
There's way worse ones.
Like what?
The Desperation miniseries.
Did they make a Desperation miniseries?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like mid-90s.
I
I
know they did like the Night Flyer and all that shit too.
There's some
the
shit
Langoliers.
Easy there, buddy.
I do love the
Easy
Langoliers.
there about old fucking Bronson Pinchot.
Oh, yeah.
Balky
was in the Langoliers.
Balky Makatopoulos, whatever his name was in that show.
Didn't we do a whole fucking episode about Balky?
Whatever his name was in that show, Family Matters.
It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, because Perfect Strangers was a spinoff of Family Matters.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Anywho, so that's what Salem's Lot, the whole quadrology. Watch Salem's Lot.
We haven't mentioned yet, though, like we're still in Halloween mode, even though it's well into November. So I like your Halloween movie recap there. You did a lot of Stephen Kinging.
Yeah, that was just the first part of a movie recap for me.
Oh, okay.
I like your orange houseu shirt, Bobby.
Hey, thanks. My wife got it for me.
You look like a cat pumpkin.
Can I
birthday cat pumpkin.
Can I do a movie recap now?
Yeah, you're up.
Ruined my fucking Halloween segue, but that's fine.
Do it again. I'll shut up.
Halloween segue.
It's like one of those things you ride, but it's a pumpkin.
No. 2007's Halloween Night Essential.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess what it is? It was on the shelf for a long time, and they said, we got to put this motherfucker out.
Trick or Treat.
Starring Dylan Baker playing a child molester. He's never done that. He doesn't.
He's a child murderer, not a molester.
Well,
in this.
In Happiness.
He's a molesting
someone that abuses children. Dylan Baker just has that fucking abusing children meets Conan O'Brien look to him.
Yeah, he does. He played the lizard in the old Spider-Man movies.
Now,
they never turned him into the lizard.
I realized something when watching Trick or Treat for like the 5th or 6th time in my life.
Did you realize it was a great fucking movie?
No, I've always thought that, but I figured out why.
Okay.
Of all the stories in that movie, and I consider Trick or Treat to be basically the Christmas story of Halloween.
I don't like the way you say it.
What?
Trick or Treat. I don't like saying it like that.
Or Trick or Treat is the one
Can we
with
say tricker?
Sammy Kerr.
Say Trick or Treat. Tricker.
Trick or Treat.
Just say Tricker. Tricker.
Dylan Baker plays a man that murders children, but that's not what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Easily the most brilliant sequence in that whole movie is the story of the kids on the school bus.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were trying to get rid of them because they were such delinquent, insane kids.
I think they were just Jeffies.
Oh, okay. We can't say that. We're not allowed to say Jeffies anymore.
I don't think anybody ever did.
So, yeah, can you help me expand on this sequence a little bit here?
So they got all these kids, and the parents want them dead. So they hire the bus driver. I haven't seen this movie in like 7 years. They hire the bus driver to drive them to death off of the cliff into the fucking quarry or something.
It's brilliant.
So he does that. And then they come back as ghosts or something? What happens with
It's
them?
a great feel-good film called Trick or Treat.
Well, my favorite part of that movie.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is your movie recap. Should I shut the fuck up?
This is about us talking about the same movies, if possible.
Yeah. Brian Cox.
It's called a conversation.
In that movie, as the old man who is the neighbor of Dylan Baker. And what I loved about this movie is that it has 4 different stories in it. It's like a little anthology thing in and of itself, but all of the stories tie into each other, but you don't even realize they're tying into each other until the end, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, you get that they're in the same town, but then you're like, oh, that person was with that person in the beginning. It's a really brilliant fucking movie. And yeah, like you said, when it was released, I heard about it, but it had already been out for 3 years. It had been made and done. They just shelved the shit and never released it. But now, if you go to any Spirit Halloween store every year, they have trick-or-treat shit with the little kid Sam with the mask and the fucking stabby candy. Like, it's an icon, but they sat on it.
They sat on it.
They sat on it.
They didn't know what they had.
Didn't know.
You know that Cinderella song, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone?
I know that song.
This is the opposite, because that song's fucking horrible, and this movie's awesome, and this was like, we don't know what we got till we
put it out.
We put it out.
Then we're like, oh, cha-ching, Lionsgate.
I'm in the mood for a melody. I'm in the mood for a melody. I'm in the mood.
It's his birthday, people. Happy birthday to Bobby.
We were listening to Robert Plant earlier tonight.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. Anything Robert Plant's ever done.
His solo work.
His solo work's my favorite.
Solo work.
He has this song called "In the Mood."
Is it called In the Mood, or is it called In the Mood for Melody?
It's just called In the Mood.
It's called In the Mood. He's talking about melody.
He's literally talking about melody.
He's talking about music. Can somebody sing with me is what he's saying. That's what he's in the mood for. What the fuck?
I get it.
I mean, look, dude, by the time he wrote this, he was like 62 and had like...
that would be I'm in the mood for a harmony. Somebody sing with me. I get,
melody, harmony.
Yeah. Melody, you know.
Hey, maybe Melody's some broad, you know?
Oh, a melody. Just anyone named Melody.
Any melodies, come on over.
Melody is kind of a hot name.
It is. I mean, you got a couple
I've never met a melody that's not
I don't think I've ever met a melody.
Very attractive.
But I'd want to play that tune.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is movie recap on the Not For Everyone podcast.
All right, I got another one.
Go for it.
So, Bill recommended this to me. I had never seen it. It's a little George C. Scott film from sometime in the 70s, The Changeling.
Oh, yeah.
The Changeling is fucking bad.
The thing about The Changeling, though, it's not really about a changeling, though.
It is about changeling.
Is it?
What is a changeling?
Is
what is
it
the
really?
definition of a changeling?
When I think changeling, I think of like a beautiful young child that's replaced by some sort of weird off-put goblin version of itself.
Right. What is a changeling is what you said.
And then
it
the
is a
parents
baby.
are like, what happened to a child? And they're like, it got into some daikini root or whatever.
And now it's ugly.
And now it's weird. And, you know.
But that is what a changeling is. You're right. You got the definition correct. It's a baby that was swapped in the middle of their childhood.
We used to call them swap babies.
Who knows what happened to the original? No, the swap baby is the one that gets kept. The changeling is the one that's left, right?
Yeah.
Swap baby gets taken, changeling gets left.
What happens to the swap baby, though?
We don't know. This movie is not about the swap baby.
Do they turn into another swamp creature? Swamp? Are they from
swap?
The swamp?
It's a swap. I don't know. Is it
a swap creature?
Is there? Yeah, they turn into some kind of swap creature covered in moss and mold. The nasty
swap thing.
I just imagine it's like in the movie The Witch. Like they take those babies and mash them into jelly. Remember that in The Witch?
Yeah,
great scene.
The Changeling stars George C. Scott, looking 67 years old.
He looks like he's 80, and I watched it, and I was like looking it up, and so I IMDb it, and George C. Scott was 53 years old when he made that movie, and I was like, hot damn, you look rough. George C. Scott was living hard, dude. Hard.
No, dude, people just were fucking old back then. People just got old.
You know what?
Now there's just like fucking collagen and like people don't eat like shit and smoke cigarettes all day.
Anywho, it's just George C. Scott looks old, but that's not the point. We're not talking about that. Point is, the first scene of the movie is George C. Scott with his happy little family of his beautiful wife and child.
Gets murdered by a truck.
He gets murdered by a fucking truck. And he's all distraught.
He's like in a phone booth.
When I watched this, I was like, I love watching a distraught, angry George C. Scott.
Is there any other kind?
There is, because in The Changeling, you see the sadness in his eyes. You don't see the rage as much, but it's there, you know. He plays it cool. It's not like, you know, the Exorcist.
He's a brilliant performer.
He is a brilliant, brilliant actor. So the point of the movie is there's like
Patton. He played Patton.
He played Patton. There's a ghost. There's somebody who got baby swapped and changelinged. Now, Bill says something to me before I start watching. He's like, this movie was ripped off by another movie called The Ring. He's like, this movie steals beat for beat shit from The Ring. And I was like, nah, dude.
I don't see that at all.
I know. I was like, nah, dude, you're crazy. So I watched The Changeling. Great movie. By the way, highly recommended.
We're talking The Ring.
The Ring with the
Not
Naomi...
Ring-U.
Well, Ring-U was... The Ring that we know with Naomi Watts was a remake of Ring-U.
Naomi Watts. She's from Japan.
Konnichiwa, baby. Oh, I love Naomi Watts. She's so good. So anywho, but the thing is, Bill was right. Because I watched The Ring right after watching The Changeling. Now, they're both great movies. You're not even paying attention to me.
I'm listening.
Get off your phone. They're both great movies. They're both different movies, but there's a lot of shit that's beat for beat. And let me tell you, let me spoil it for all of you. Mm-hmm. And this is all the words of our Scrotus on high, William Washington Skinner III. For one, it's a vengeful ghost that's a child, right? Somebody tries to help that vengeful ghost because they think that ghost wants to be helped. But in reality, that ghost just wants blood, okay? So all that, now that's a very, very similar trope.
You're painting with broad strokes here, Bill.
I know, but it gets a lot more specific. Now, here's where it gets interesting. They dig up underneath a room, like somebody's house. They dig a hole in the floor, and under the hole in the floor is a well. And at the bottom of the well is the skeleton and body of the child that is the ghost.
Did that happen in Ring?
Yes.
I thought it was like a lighthouse, and you watch a tape, and there's like a little girl that comes out of a TV and murders you. So none of that happened in the George C. Scott movie called The Changeling.
But everything I said... Everything
else was.
Now, look. There's a lot of differences, but there's definitely heavy
Dude,
influences.
There's a lot of like fucking...
No, bro.
There's a lot of like, hey, like
I watched The Ring after I watched Change. I watched them both, Bobby.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I get what you're saying.
You're saying this without having watched them both because I said...
I've seen both of those movies.
I said exactly what you said, but when you watch it with brand new, fresh eyes...
With the confirmation bias implanted into your brain by Bill Skinner.
Yes, with that.
He's a very influential man.
In your eyes.
He has an OnlyFans.
It makes sense, and he has beautiful feet.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm just saying there are many movies where it's like, hey, it's a little ghost. They want you to help find the body so you can discover who the killer was, and it's always underneath some house somewhere.
They're both in Seattle.
In that case.
Right?
In that case.
But there's no horses in they're both different movies. All right. I watched The Ring, too, and I hadn't watched The Ring in forever. In The Ring, the 2002 Ring with Naomi Watts, that movie is fucking phenomenal, dude. I love The Ring. Love it. So watch The Changeling and The Ring. They're very similar, but they're different enough to be their own individual masterpieces.
All right, hold on.
Who's calling in?
I got a message.
Yeah, huge asshole.
I think it's another audition for your job, Crude Rude Dude. It's another Crude Rude Dude audition that came through while you were doing movie recap.
Here, let's hear it.
You know what, Bobby? I don't feel the need to explain to you how much I like this movie or even give the audience points. This movie was from China. It was from Asia. And if you know anything about Cougar Dude, you know. Cougar Dude likes China, okay? So I would think that you would respect what we're doing because we're doing this podcast and you know what I mean? You know what? Fuck you, Bobby. So anyway.
He's good.
So this movie was so wonderful. And it was amazing. And you know what? If Asia had like a butthole, like the continent, I'd it.
Yeah. I love this guy. He gets me.
I went to Shudder. Do you know Shudder, Bobby? Anywho.
Wait. So what do you think so far? Is there
more?
There's more. You want to just hear more?
I mean, if you want, it's your birthday. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Keep it going. I get it.
Okay, well,
I like it.
This guy really tried hard because he wants to not necessarily replace you. But
he wants my job.
If you're unavailable,
they all want my job.
I paid $6.99 for Shudder because they have these big creatures that I just love to watch destruct things, Bobby. Why, Bobby? Why do you always, you know what I mean? I sit here through your Bigfoot things and your cryptoid shit, and you think that would be a bond for you and Kurudu, but it's not. It's not. And Godzilla is a goddamn cryptoid. And so, anyways, we have to end Rewind recap, don't we? So, I watched this movie, and it was cool. And I'm not going to tell you why it was cool. You should just know it was cool because
it's true.
Watched it. And I am the annihilator I'm the pork chop express captain.
It's beautiful. Who did that? Tell me who did that so I can give him a hug.
And that was movie recap.
Oh, God, I love it.
Hey guys, real quick, I just wanted to tell you about Paloma Verde CBD. You can check them out at palomaverdecbd.com and find all the wonderful products, CBD-based products, that they have to offer. You might be asking yourself, Snobby Bobby, what is CBD? Well, if you don't know, it's a natural chemical compound found in the hemp plant and its cousin cannabis. CBD has a rich history and a variety of benefits ranging from reducing inflammation to helping you get a good night's sleep without any psychoactive effects. So it doesn't actually get you high, but as a personal user, I have personally benefited from this in regards to my end-of-day anxiety. I'm not a doctor, but I recommend it. It's also a great alternative if you're in the habit of perhaps having that cocktail or that beer right after work and you want to kind of cut back on that. This, as in my experience, has mellowed me out quite a bit. So head on over to palomaverdecbd.com. Check out their variety of products and variety of benefits that you can take advantage of from palomaverdecbd.com. Use promo code NFE at checkout to save 25% on any order $75 or above. Again, palomaverdecbd.com. Help out my friends, Carlos and Vanessa, straight out of San Antonio, Texas. All right, let's get back to the show.
So let's get to what we're here to do tonight. What are we doing, Bobby?
Like I've said many times before on the Not For Everyone podcast, Halloween seasons goes from September into November, into November
months
before Thanksgiving.
And
What we do during the Halloween season is we have spooky stories.
Spooky stories.
And we actually have an in-studio interview tonight.
We have a guest tonight. We have with us the lovely but deadly Wendy is here to tell us a tale of supernatural woe and transfusions. So hi, Wendy. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm myself. What do you want to know?
She's Wendy. We got her here.
This is all we need to know.
You're a high strangeness experiencer. I'd love to hear the tale.
I've heard a couple of Wendy's, and I know she's got better than even what I've heard to present to us here tonight.
It is hard to begin it somewhere. It's like, I was born into the atmosphere, and then this weird shit started happening to me. So, as I grew older, things started just coming together. But
would you say you were born into the supernatural? Like this has been like your par for the course throughout your life?
Yeah, I would. And I feel a little guilty because I have a shit ton of siblings, and all of them have been like, "Hey, does this shit follow you around? Because it follows me around." And I feel guilty. I feel like it is my fault because I'm the oldest and I have dabbled in it way more than they have, and they're all very normal. And I'm not. I never was. I know that. But
so does this shit follow you around too, though?
A little bit, and it gets worse during certain times of my life.
When we say shit, what are we talking about?
What are you referring to?
We're talking about just supernatural in general. So I would say psychic, seeing things, seeing people, ghosts.
Bigfoots? Anything like Bigfoots?
Never.
Have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
Actually, this is. I don't want to go off topic, but
I want you to go off topic.
Please do.
I don't want to go off topic. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I think it's bullshit.
Get out of my house.
She told you, Bobby.
And I dated a guy who was super into Bigfoot.
This guy, he's so into Bigfoot.
And he was so into it that like I had to stop dating him. And I was like, I know I sound crazy, so I didn't cite this obviously as a reason. I talked about him eating pancakes the wrong way or something.
What's the wrong way to eat pancakes?
From the inside out, with peanut butter melted.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's disgusting.
So you have a spooky story.
I do. I know. We will go off topic all day. It's hard to start it because it's a rough one.
Start from the beginning.
All right.
Right.
So I grew up out in the desert, middle of nowhere, not a lot going on.
Where?
We'll call it close to Death Valley.
Close to Death Valley. Fair enough.
We'll
I've seen that from Looney Tunes.
Welcome to the Tune.
Acme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little like that. So I grew up out there, and I don't know if it's just because it's quiet, there's not a lot going on. I think you notice more. So when you live in a city, you're busy.
There's a hug and a bugging around you. Everything's going on.
Shit's going on. Right. You're not paying attention. So if there's not a lot going on, you are. You're sitting with yourself. You're sitting with whatever the fuck else is around you, to be honest. And so we were always taught to be really careful about what was around us in general. But it would happen where they would put us in rooms together as kids, and we always thought, obviously we're just like poor or whatever. That wasn't the case. It was to keep us safe. It's a total thing.
Safe from what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they would put you in as children in groups together, not because
Always.
you're poor and bored, but to keep you safe from all the weird desert shit.
Yeah, and they would tell us to watch out for each other. And sometimes we would even do like sleeping schedules, like military shit, where we would watch out for each other.
What were you looking for?
And we didn't know when we were really young, except sometimes we'd go out in the desert, we'd get dropped off, and my grandfather would say, like, if I don't find you in 3 days, then I'll come looking for you. And these were like tests that we would go through. It was very strange.
Wait, are you like a spiritual warrior?
I don't know. I don't know what I've been doing. I am about to come at you. No.
Interesting.
I don't know. When I was young, I didn't get it. I thought it was all very normal, because when you're a kid, you just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
You're malleable.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a little sponge.
Yeah.
Take whatever. It all makes sense. It's all fine.
For sure.
It's normal. It's all normal.
Yeah. So we would do all these rituals and all this stuff. Regardless of that, we would sleep in rooms together, and I remember there was one night, my cousin and her and I were very, very close. We're super close in age, too, and our moms are twin sisters, so we're, like, double close.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time my mom got pregnant, my stepmom, which is what I want to call her, my aunt.
Your aunt
got pregnant.
Is what you should be calling her. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were always pregnant at the same time. So we all had like built-in best friends, which is super cool. Except it's also creepy because it was like they're creating a twin of us
on
almost.
purpose, like intentionally.
Yeah. I'm trying to prep the story because I couldn't just tell it first, or I would sound crazy if I just like went in.
Please take as much time as needed.
And that's the hardest thing about me even doing this is I don't want to sound fucking nuts.
We have like 7 listeners. They don't give a fuck.
Don't worry
about
it.
Don't worry about it.
This is
all I need is
safe
one.
Space.
Anyways.
We're listening and we believe you, Wendy.
I don't give a fuck if you believe me. I'm just telling you the truth. So I remember I was laying in my aunt's room and she's obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. I'm just gonna set the stage.
Whoa. now I'm creeped out.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
Heffalumps and woozles.
Beautiful woman. Her name is Narcissus.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's her real name?
That is her God-given name.
Narcissus?
Narcissus. And I probably shouldn't even say that, but she was a stripper at the time.
Was that her stripper name?
No, that is her God-given name, and if you ask me one more fucking time...
Okay, all right.
Listen, I have a weird name, too, so I'm really defensive about it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Your name's Wendy, like the burgers.
No, like the weather, not the cheeseburger.
Like the association song.
It is, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I always feel like blown away when you're
all right, you're...
Wow.
Enough,
I've never, ever
Adam.
heard that before.
Never once? Because that was a really cornball. Anyways, continue, please.
I actually haven't heard that. That was really nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we were in her room, which was painted black, very similar to the room that we're currently in that no one can see, but painted black and had like...
This room is more Smurf blue.
It had glow-in-the-dark paint all over it with like stars and stripes and then just Winnie the Pooh stuff everywhere. And
like Tiggers and shit?
Yeah, and I was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh also because she was like my idol. I loved my aunt because she like rode around in this badass drop top and I was like, ugh,
Were there
This bitch
Winnie
is
the
hot.
Pooh
What kind
graphics
of what
on
kind of drop
the-
top?
I don't even remember. It was
Who
probably
cares?
a Miata, but whatever.
She had Winnie the Pooh, like one of those sunshade things that you
Oh,
put over
everything, no matter what. And she just had boys who would come over and drop their pants and do anything she said. And I was like, this
What?
is...
While
this is...
you were around?
I would turn around.
While the dudes pulled their dicks out?
Yeah, she'd be like, hey, let's measure your dicks. When do you turn around? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. But then I'd still know who won, you know what I mean?
I love spooky stories on the Not For Everyone podcast are always...
We're getting
there
there.
were bound to be dicks at some point.
Spooky dicks involved. These are desert dicks no one else touched for
Spooky
sure.
Desert dicks.
Desert dicks are all dry and sandy.
NFE, baby. It's all good. There's crevices. They're all full of sand. It's fine.
We're fucked
No,
up.
they're salt caked. They don't. There's not. It's not the beach, bitch. It's the desert.
Anywho, let's
There's
get
no
away-
moisture.
Let's get away from
Anyways,
the
we're
near-
staying in Aunt Nara's room together.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
whole thing. There's a one tiny window in that room, and the only other thing that's happened in that window is one time, supposedly our house is on fire, which I don't think it was. There was some other shit going on, and
How do
then
you mistake that?
What other shit was going on that would be
The
mistaken
house
for
might be
a
on
house
fire, but
no,
I
like
don't
there
know.
was
It
a
might
bunch of
not be.
cops and like all this shit, and I got pulled out of the window, and I had to
That
take
was a
myself-
fire, honey. That's
Sure,
all that
yeah,
was.
it was a
right.
fire.
It's a fire.
It's a fire.
Yeah, you experienced a house fire.
Certainly, there was no fire.
Certainly.
But I was like, here's my Winnie the Pooh. Got it. Anyways, we were staying in this room. I always felt like the mom of the situation. I was always taking care of my cousin. I was like 10 minutes older than her. I have no idea.
Right. Obviously older.
I am like looking up at this fucking glow in the dark shit in the room, and the bed starts to shake. Like
Like
have you ever
Exorcist
seen? Well, yeah, if you want to make it like that. I was trying to make it cute, like, you know.
Winnie the Pooh.
Well, like bed knobs and broomsticks.
Bed knobs and broomsticks is still pretty freaking creepy. All right. Let's
Adam,
be
you
honest.
like that movie Bed Knobs and Poon Sticks?
Who was in that? Was she hot?
Poonsticks are my favorite. My favorite fruit snack.
Is Poon Stick.
Poon Snick.
Right
Poon
there with you,
Sticks.
honey. Right there with you. Give me a taste.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Previously on Pegged.
Anywho,
Adam likes being pegged.
I know that.
just sometimes.
Every once in a day.
Twice a week. Get on with your story, Wendy. Stop
Trying
sharing
so
my dirtiness.
hard. You're making me hold this fucking Cheeto stick. It's So the bed starts shaking. Magically, it feels very magical, you know. And I'm looking around. I'm like, am I hallucinating as a child right now? A very smart young child.
How old were you at this time?
Probably like 6, 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So but I was a very cerebral kid. My parents will tell you this too.
What does that mean?
Super smart, like dumb smart.
Right.
Would like steal their credit cards to buy books and magazines online and be like obsessively looking at animals and like researching stuff. I was like very into just like knowledge. I had to have it
Interesting.
anywhere I could get it. So I was a weirdly smart kid, and I didn't know it yet. I just thought I was like, you know,
A kid. You just
bored.
thought you were a kid.
I thought I was bored,
Right.
and I was like, give me more stuff. So I am thinking to myself at the time, even then, I was like very aware. It's like, okay, I'm dreaming or I'm hallucinating. I start looking around, and I'm like feeling it out, and I was like, no, this is like the room. I'm in the room. This is happening.
This is
The
real.
bed is like off the ground, shaking.
Who all's in the room at this point?
Myself, and then I look over at my cousin. She's like adjacent from me in a bed that's next to that weird window that I'm talking about. And she's there, and she's sleeping, and her bed is not moving. And so as my bed starts moving and I'm looking over, I was like, this is super fucking weird. And I remember there's a mirror on the other side of the wall, so I was like, if I look in the mirror and I see that this is really happening, then I know, like, I'm feeling it, I'm seeing, like, this is
Right.
around me. But if I look in a mirror, this seems like a good check, a good checkpoint for, like, reality. So I look in the mirror, it's happening. This is...
The
Moving.
bed shaking is happening.
Is it
The-
like off the ground?
So in the mirror, the whole thing that's happening is the entire room is like a fun house. Like the whole room is moving as if it were like warbling. Like you're looking at one of those funky mirrors that's like back and forth. And I'm weirded out in the mirror too because I'm looking at the mirror and that's happening. My bed is shaking for sure, and that's all I see in real life. I look over, my cousin is sleeping soundly. Everything else is still.
Her bed's not shaking.
not in real life, but in the mirror, everything is moving.
Right.
So I was like, this is so fucking strange. And then I see this thing. So the window starts to open a little bit, right? Like an inch, and then a little bit more. And I see this, it's not even a hand, I can't even explain. It's like these long, wicked looking fingers. They look like if you tried to make fingers out of plastic in like 2 seconds in a craft fair. Like bad.
Are they white?
They were like,
Well, they gotta be white.
yeah, like peachy, like a white person, I
Right,
guess.
yeah,
But like
yeah.
they were skin colored, I would say, like for sure, like a white person, I guess.
Right.
But
Ugh.
they were just like creepy, bad fucking horror movie fingers, you know?
And this is when you're 6.
Yes, and so of course, and again, I was a very cerebral, like smart kid where
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
You're like Jean Grey from the X-Men.
Dude, I kept checking myself. I kept being like, okay, this is happening. I had already had a lot of trauma in my life, so I was like,
At 6?
yeah, I was like, maybe this is just like, you know, me being crazy.
Right.
So I'm watching this window open slowly and watching these wicked, like, witch fingers come through the door or through the window. And I look at my cousin and she's next to the window, so I start to freak out. Because now I'm like in fight or flight. Like, I have to do something. If this is actually happening,
To save her.
I should probably make some moves. And I look over at her, and it's like, as soon as I like recognize that something really bad was happening and I acknowledge it in my brain, like her and I are connected in a way, and we've always have been.
And this is the one that you
makes
have, like,
sense.
you're like a twin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
My mom's twin sister's kid who was born around the same time.
Right.
So she sits straight up in her bed and she looks at me. And I go, is this fucking happening? And she was like, yeah, this is happening. What is happening? You know, she yells. And I was like, the window. And she looks at it and she screams. And so I get out of my bed, finally, my cute little Winnie the Pooh covers, throw them out of the way like a bad bee, and run over to the window. And I look down, and the window's now like almost halfway open. And like, why is it happening slowly? The whole thing is very creepy. It's creeping me out right now. I'm getting like chills. I haven't talked about this a lot. So I look down, and there's this like thing.
You see this in the window.
Climbing.
Not in the mirror, but like looking
No,
at it.
I'm looking directly at this thing, trying super hard to climb into this window.
When you say thing, what do you mean?
So it looks like it's covered in skin. It's fully nude.
Well, that's good. When it's covered
So it
in
might have
skin.
been me, because I'm totally covered in
Fully
skin.
nude. I would say I would compare it if we're like trying to create a visual to like if you've ever seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, the hand
The
thing.
like hand thing, it's pretty similar to that, where it's just like all like draggy skin. It looks like it's something trying to pretend to be a human, but like doesn't know how to do that.
It is me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I did that to you.
This is a very...
I don't want to imagine you being nude is the problem. That's more scary than this story for
It's
sure.
really fleshy and nasty. His hands on the... You don't want to think about it. Don't think about it, honey.
It looks like the
It
Elephant
seems
Man.
a little soft and kind though, you know.
Yeah. So wait. Did you just see the hands, or did you see more?
So I first saw the hands, and then I just told you the fucking story, for Christ's sake.
I'm trying to follow.
Yeah, you piece
I'm
of
going through
shit.
trauma right now. in front of
I'm
you.
sorry, Wendy. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I haven't talked about it a lot, and this is one of the weirder ones, the weirder stories. So when I looked over at my cousin and I saw that was happening with the hands, that only I saw the hands, I'm sure she saw more because she was close to the window. So when her bed started to shake and she looked up at me and she finally woke up, I think she saw more than I had seen already, because her eyes were white as fuck.
Right.
And she looks at me, and I was like, is this happening? And she goes, yes, like, what is happening? And so I ran over to the window to try and do something about it. As I do. I'm a doer. I hate this. What?
You get shit done, girl.
But is this why? You know what I mean?
Maybe this could
Like-
be... if you were 6 at this time, this is probably why you get shit done today. Yes. You're like, close the fucking window.
Close the window. And it was weird because as the window was opening, I don't know if you've ever lived in the desert, but it's really cold at night. It's super hot during the day. It's super cold at night. So it's like, also that's coming in. So maybe that's realistically, maybe that's what woke her up, because she was dead asleep. So this happens, and I run over to the window, and then I finally see it. And I imagine, like I said, that from the angle, she has already seen more than I have,
Right,
and
more than
how
you have.
weird this thing looks. It's just like raggedy skin and something. And this was my first encounter with something that looked like this, but I have encountered these things multiple times since then, which is even more weird because they all look the same. They all look like they're pretending to be something in someone's skin.
All right, so
I don't know if that's where the term Skinwalker comes from. I don't know enough about culture
Right.
and that kind of stuff to know that, but I do know that, like, that's what I would call it if I didn't know what was going on.
It's like something trying to act like it's human in what appears like just kinda to be human flesh.
Right,
But it's not.
right.
like the guy from Men in Black that puts on the
Yeah.
the roach guy.
More
It's like,
sugar.
More sugar. Yeah.
Except without clothes.
So
even better. Now wait, are you still in contact with your cousin that saw this too?
Yeah.
Have you talked to her about that since then?
We did talk about it when we were probably 12, 13. We were a little bit older. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. And we proceeded to get very drunk. Because
right, yeah, sure. 12, 13, get
12,
fucked
13.
up. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's a good time to do
To
that.
deal with that shit, I'm not judging at all.
Well, we just were allowed to do that at that age, so that's what we were doing.
You Mormons.
It wasn't that side.
It wasn't that sign.
It wasn't the Mormon side for sure. No, they used to let us drink only on the 4th of July because that was our big party, and only if you
Had seen the Skinwalker.
you had to promise that if you were gonna barf, you had to lay off the side of a truck so that you wouldn't die in your own puke.
America.
Wait, what if you were inside? Do you have to go find a truck?
So
to puke out of?
you crawl outside and you lay in the back of a truck so you can lay off the bed.
I think that's beautiful. I think it's important to
actually
let
re-
kids
it's-
drink so they don't go nuts in college.
It's actually really sweet, and I think about it now all the time. Anytime I get drunk, I'm like, I need to lay off the side of something so I don't die.
You ever do that thing where you have to like put your leg on the ground so the room stops spinning?
Oh no, that's just when I'm in a bad dream.
Okay, can you just for the audience, I know you alluded to the thing from Pan's Labyrinth.
Well,
but-
I haven't finished either.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, get back to it.
I'll just
We'll
shut
shut
the
up.
fuck up.
We'll
then.
shut the
No,
fuck up.
I
You talk.
alluded. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. What can you just kind of describe in a little bit more detail as to what it is you saw?
I saw the hands, and then when I walked up to the window, it's like, okay, this is a whole being for sure. It's like very human shaped, I would say, ish, but not like defined as a human would be. There's not like definitive arms, definitive legs, or genitals, or anything else. It was very like everything is malleable. It's like clay. It's very much like melting clay, which it's like to me, living in the desert, like you see a lot of weird desert animals anyway. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it wasn't right.
Right.
And I knew it was like coming into our room. And what's funny is that like even looking at it, it looked like if you've ever had like a random creature run into your house. Like,
What kind of creature, Wendy?
No, I've never had that happen.
no, if you've ever had like a bird come in your house or like a
bat.
a random cat, a bat, something
yeah.
where they're like once they get in there, they're like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah, they freak the fuck out. Yeah.
It kind of seemed like that, except
The
it was
great
like
outdoors.
it was on a mission to get in. But
Did
then
it seem like it was coming for you and your cousin?
it seemed like it was on a mission to get in for sure, but almost seemed like it was running away from something else.
Like, okay, so it's trying to get
So-
in, but it's trying to get away from something the fuck
I
else
didn't-
out there.
What I didn't know though, my like X factor was what's it going to do when it gets in here.
Right, sure.
And my entire family is in the rest of the house, and I'm such a family oriented person that I was just like, I have to TCB right now.
What's TCB? Taking care of business?
If you don't know that, you can go
Take
fuck
care
yourself.
of
You don't know
Business.
Bachman Turner
Every
Overdrive.
day.
We're all like very like we take care of
Family
business.
oriented.
Yeah, family oriented and like land oriented. Like
I've had Mormon tacos. Not impressed.
Well, you haven't had my white people Mormon tacos, and
All
they're
right.
pretty good. I actually crave my mom's Mormon tacos.
Skinwalker tacos.
God damn it, I got so many things I want to say, but I'm being nice. I'm a gentleman.
Anyways, yes, this thing looked like it was made out of peanut butter. Like, straight up, super weird, melting.
Did you see a face?
Yes.
I have.
And that's why I say so I grew up on a ranch where we were like very close to animals, and I have a lot of affinity for understanding people and animals' feelings just by looking at them, right? Mm-hmm. So like looking at this thing.
And why do you keep being so mean to me?
Because you're a bitch.
Fair enough.
I understand that.
Fair enough.
You need it. I know what you need.
Stop it, you. Go back to your story. I retract my question.
You can't even look me in the eye.
All right.
Peanut butter face.
So I will say this of your entire story. I am fairly interested in the world of high strangeness. I don't know what the fuck that could have been.
Well, you keep stopping me at the same spot.
Okay, you're still going. All right, I'll shut the fuck up.
So what's happening is obviously I'm like, okay, realizing I have to protect whatever's going on. I see that my cousin sees it, so I know I'm not fucking nuts. Mm-hmm. And then I go over to the window to take care of business. And as I'm doing that, I look at this, I'll just call it an animal, whatever it is, an animal. And it looks scared, like very scared. And I felt kind of bad locking it out, but I just didn't know what it would do if it got in the house.
You can't let that shit in.
And I don't know what it is. Like, it was very strange. I'm a very sweet person, so I almost wanted to be like, yes, dear, are you okay? But, like, that I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's like Courage the Cowardly Dog out there, dude. Like, I'm not even joking. It's bad. So I slammed the window. And again, the closer I got, this is what's so weird, too. The closer I got to the window, the more the room would shake. So before it was just the bed, remember? So in the mirror, the entire room was shaking.
But just the bed was shaking to you in real life.
Right. And then I looked over at my cousin when she finally woke up. Her bed started shaking. And then when I went to run towards the window, it was like the whole room started shaking, just like it was in the mirror, like a funhouse thing. And so it was like really hard for me. I was like fighting against something, the world, I guess.
Equilibrium and shit.
Yeah, just whatever, to get to the window, because the whole room is moving. And I get to the window, and I see it, and I was like, whoa, look at its eyes. And I felt for it, but I just was like, I can't do anything. So I slammed the window down on its hands. Yeah, fingers out, chop. And I look over at my cousin, and she's like freaking out. She just woke up.
How old was she? She's like 6'2" at the time.
Yeah, a little bit younger than me, a couple months. And then she comes over, and she's like helping me pull the window down and lock it. And it
where are the fingers at this point?
So it makes this screaming noise that I can't even explain to you other than if you've read some books by
Adam didn't know how to
who
read,
is it?
I'm a
Roald Dahl.
So Roald Dahl writes these books about.
Oh my God, I was right.
Yeah,
like the giants, the BFG, and
the big fucking giant.
But he wrote a book about how plants scream and when you cut them and they die. It's a really good book. You should read it.
I love Roald Dahl.
Amazing, yeah. And cusses more than anyone I've ever heard in a book, besides those kids' books. Everything else he wrote was like actually really nasty.
Really?
Yes. Amazing writer.
He's a deviant.
Amazing
All
writer.
I know is the kid shit.
No, and even the kid shit is
Matilda.
weird.
James and the Giant Peach and shit.
No, read the other stuff. It's so good.
Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator was a little fucking out there.
All of it was out there, but like the rest of his books, those are the ones he made into kids. They made into kids movies are. Even if you read the book, there's a lot more in there.
Yeah, those are his like tamer stories.
Yeah, he is amazing, and I really do believe that man probably knew some things that I knew, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because it's similar experiences. But the screams that I'm talking about, I would say he writes better than I could ever say in one of his books about plants.
What's that book called?
I cannot remember.
What's the scream sound like? Describe it in your words.
I'll describe it in words for like younger people who might know.
Talk to us because we're like children. We're like man children. So yes.
If you've seen Harry Potter,
I've heard of it.
Dumbledore.
You know, when they're like, it's the same kind of story, and I don't know if they pulled it from him, but where there are these little things, or I can reference Pan's Labyrinth again. I guess
I know that more than I know Harry Potter.
Okay,
yes.
So when they take the little thing that goes under the bed. And like put it in the milk, the mandrake, and they put it in the milk, and it screams.
Yeah.
When they try to kill it.
Yeah.
And they throw it in the fire. That's what it sounded like.
I'm not gonna lie. In all the Halloween seasons that we've interviewed someone with a spooky story, this is the most upsetting one I've ever.
Because it's
It
real.
is. And this is. I've heard stories of her before that are just as upsetting.
But how am I this? I'm a nice lady.
You're a nice. You're a
No,
sweetheart.
no one's saying you're not.
Sweetheart.
I just don't know how I ended up not being like, you know.
I've never seen any of this shit. I've wanted to my whole life, but it's just stayed away from me.
Well, what's weird too is that like I felt like as it was happening my whole life, even when I was really young, that I was just meant to be there.
Right.
Like I always had this like purpose-driven force within me that was like, I am here to do exactly what I need to do, and that is it. And like, I don't know how to explain that. I could see.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I could see me taking it as like, no, I never took it as trauma. I just like showed up and was like, this is my thing to deal with.
This is your path. This is what you're gonna deal with. Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, things just get weirder. Don't worry.
Great.
All right.
This is just when she was 6. Wow. Okay. So after that, did you ever experience any more fleshy man things coming in the windows?
Yeah, but it,
Of course you did.
yeah, I did, but I was really surprised because afterwards, you know, I took my cousin to bed, I tucked her in, I laid with her, I checked on the rest of my family as you would, and I was like, weird.
And they were all fine. They didn't. Nothing was.
No, totally fine. I probably told my mom about it. My mom always shrugged a lot of the stuff off. I told my grandparents about it. They shrugged a lot of it off. And I didn't realize until I was much older that they knew. They also,
knew.
they went through the
Right.
same kind of stuff. And they thought it was normal. And I was like, mind blown.
Did they grow up in the desert as well?
Yeah.
There's some fucked up shit going on in the desert, man. That's all I,
I would
know.
love to be a desert rat.
I loved it. I would never, ever exchange it for anything else. And my hair looks so good out there. I want to go
So
back.
you don't regret these experiences?
I don't. I really don't. And you know, obviously things could have gone worse. I have had family members who have experienced things out there that have changed their lives for the worse. And I hate that. But I do feel like it does define who is strong and who is weak. And I hate to say it in that way, but it absolutely does.
You're a strong motherfucker.
It does.
So what would if you were to give the thing a name, like not even like Jim or fucking Bob, but like what kind of thing was it? What would you think it was? What was it?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like alien because I don't think that is the case, but I do think that either it's something that's been created by someone, like experimented on and created.
Mm-hmm.
Like by a scientist or magician? This is sorcery shit.
Yeah.
No, like,
the desert's
like
where all the
scientists.
government.
No, but
makes
it's all
chimeras and
government
shit.
stuff out there. So it's like
Yeah.
I could totally see it being like an experiment gone wrong that's
Escaped.
and then turned into something else. But then there is also weird stuff in general that happens out there, and I'll say that like in places with extremely different temperatures, so like it's super hot during the day and then
super
really cold. Yeah,
Interesting.
those are places that things happen, and there's not a lot of explaining to do with it other than and you know about this if you read about it, there are portals to places. There are supposed holes in the world that go into other
Realms.
or I wouldn't even say realms, but like even to like there's talks about like the core of the earth and ways to get to like other places. And definitely we don't know about that.
You know.
And I don't need to know about it.
We don't know.
But I would say that like in between here and there, if you've ever seen The Descent, which is one of my favorite fucking
Great
movies.
fucking film.
Great fucking Neil Marshall. What up, baby?
What?
And one of the reasons it's one of my favorite movies is because I grew up around stuff.
Wait, you saw fucking cave vampires?
Cave goblins.
That's what it's like. I'm telling you.
This is why I live in the city,
These
Wendy.
no, why? How boring.
Hey,
Don't
man.
you get bored?
I get bored
I'm-
as fuck.
My life is
Aren't you ready to die?
yeah. My life is constant boredom. Show me all the exciting stuff, all right, so I can be sacrificed.
Why
to
won't you
Satan.
die, Adam?
I don't know, because the devil wants me. Because my Lord Dracula wants me alive. Apparently, I don't know.
I think you're scared.
I think you're a dumb bitch, Adam.
I'm not dumb,
But you are a
but I
bitch.
might be a little bit of a bitch.
Aww. Well, I won't pick on you guys at all. I wouldn't put anybody through what I've been through, but I will say that I do think that, like, these places are real. There are strange things going on in a lot of places, and it's easy to ignore, but it's happening all
I
over
just
the
feel
place.
like I've led a very sheltered life in that I've wanted to experience things like this, but it's just never happened to me.
You're a child of the secular enlightenment, Adam. You don't you are not open to these types of high strangeness phenomenon. I gotta ask you.
That's not even the case. I've wanted it to. It just never happened. It's never comes to me.
I gotta ask, Wendy, when you closed the window on this, let's just call it a Skinwalker.
Sure, and the scream.
When you close the window,
the mandrake
were the
scream.
fingers in the seam of the window when you closed it?
So yeah, but there were like bone-ish things involved. So like
Bone-ish things.
Yeah, so it's not like they just like came off. It was not like the movies where they cut off a window. A window's not gonna. It's not a fucking guillotine.
So, yeah, right. It's like
so
a
this
chop
thing
shit,
like
right.
So I just like kept
reacted
trying.
and
Yeah,
pulled it.
he just kept screaming, and I actually felt really bad. I started to cry a little bit because I already felt bad looking at him. I felt like he was running away from something and whatever. And then now I'm hurting him. I have a big heart. It's so bad. And even to the fact that I'm like, this monster.
You're like, this demon Skinwalker. I didn't want to hurt him, but he was very scary.
I didn't. I wanted to keep him, but I also didn't know. I didn't know what to do. And I was hurting him, and I knew it, but my cousin, I looked at her, and she looked more scared, and I knew that was important. So we kept slamming the window down until he eventually, he was pulling his hands back, like they were hurting, and he got him out, and then we locked the window.
Then he just, ran off?
Yeah, and then he
I
went.
feel like it's a hell of a story, and I believe you, but I feel like you have way more stories that we can't get into tonight.
Listen.
Maybe we can't.
She's told me stories before, and they always, kind of made me feel scared. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Existential terror. And this is like a whole new one. And once again, I feel that existential terror inside of my soul.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I feel kind of blessed that I've never had to experience. And I've wanted to, but it's just never happened. I'm like, whenever I talk to you about these things, Wendy, I'm like, oh, thank God they're leaving me alone.
It's because you're a child of the secular enlightenment.
I don't know what that fucking means.
You don't believe anything outside of the scientific, the approved scientific paradigm.
No, I'm like the Mulder guy. I want to believe. I believe
You're not as hot as Mulder ever, just FYI.
Listen, I may not be a hand model bitch, but I'm sexy as all fuck, alright? I don't need you fucking shitting on my charm.
You're a piece of shit, Adam. You know that?
I do know that. It's true. It's all true.
All right, we're still deep in the heart of the Scream Queen Halloween season.
Queen.
I'm afraid this is going to be our last one before we record a special Thanksgiving episode. Adam, who is our Scream Queen featurette of tonight?
So tonight we're talking about one of the greats. You know her, you love her, you've always wanted that perm. Little Miss Adrienne Barbeau. God, I love Adrienne Barbeau. She really did a lot for me. And when you watch her now, when you watch Adrienne Barbeau with a woman, they're always like, her? Really? Like, she looks like a grandma or like your aunt.
No.
And I'm like, nah, dude, Adrienne Barbeau. There's something just damn fine about Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau is known for The Fog.
Sure. Fog is
among
great.
other things. The Fog, Swamp Thing,
Creep
Cannonball
Show.
Run, Escape from New York,
Creep
Show.
Show.
The Thing.
Mm-hmm. The Thing?
Uh,
She was like a voice in The Thing. That doesn't count.
I'm just reading the IMDb without thinking about it.
Yeah, well, think about it.
She was in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield and Robert Downey Jr.
Great.
and Two Evil Eyes, which is tonight's
Tonight's
movie.
film is Two Evil Eyes.
Oh, she was in Demolition Man.
Was she?
She was the mainframe computer voice. Here's one for you, Adam.
Uh-huh.
Who do you think she played in the Batman animated series?
She was a voice.
Yeah,
I don't know. Who'd you play?
it's a pretty
Meaty role?
important role in that series.
Really? Well, she wasn't like Catwoman?
She was Catwoman.
She was Catwoman.
I mean, there may have been more than one Catwoman. She was in looks like about 8 or 9 episodes
No shit.
as Catwoman.
So my whole childhood of watching fucking Batman the Animated Series, Adrienne Barbeau was talking to me while I was watching cartoons.
she played Martha Wayne as well.
In the Superman animated series? Martha Wayne. Oh,
No,
not
that would be Batman's mother.
Yeah, they're both their names Martha.
I bet it was a sequence where they got murdered.
Yeah, I bet Adrienne Barbeau said a line or two.
So this movie, I don't know how we settled on it.
I know how.
I'd never seen it, but it seemed like it was good enough for this wild show.
I'd never seen it, but I'd always seen the movie cover for years and years and years. And we spoke, and we were like, who do we need to add as the last Scream Queen? And we were like, Barbeau. Like, duh, fucking Barbeau. How is Barbeau not the first one we did? And then we're like, what should we watch? And so I started looking through her profile on the IMDb, and it turns out I'd never seen Two Evil Eyes.
Who's it directed by?
It's directed by two gentlemen. It's two different stories. One of them, the Barbeau one's directed by none other than George fucking Romero.
I already got some creep show vibes here.
Right. And the other one is directed by Dr. Suspiria himself, Dario Argento.
And that one stars Harvey Keitel, of all people.
Fucking Harvey. So this movie, the top names in each story, the stars of their respective stories, are Adrienne Barbeau and Harvey Keitel. How do you not want to watch that movie?
Read that IMDb description.
Two horror tales based on short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. Directed by famed horror directors George Romero and Dario Argento. A greedy wife kills her husband, but not completely. A sleazy reporter adopts a strange black cat. That's what it says. That's what it says.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Wake.
He's still alive.
From the creators of Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, Two Evil Eyes.
We are felons, Jessica. We have committed grand larceny here and fraud and God knows what else.
Beyond the limits of morality.
In a few weeks, we'll have it all.
And beyond the boundaries of life.
I am dead.
You killed her.
And I didn't kill her! Just take one look at him, then tell me you think he's still alive.
The terror of George Romero.
Wake up!
The suspense of Dario Argento. A new dimension of evil that goes beyond all evil. Two Evil Eyes. I'm going to wake you.
It's too late!
1990s Two Evil Eyes, directed by Dario Argento in the segment called The Black Cat, and George A. Romero in the segment called The Facts in the Case of Mr. Valdemar.
Yeah.
Both based on Edgar Allan Poe stories, I believe, of the same title.
Yeah. So, very similar titles. And very loosely based. I mean, it's the general
they
idea.
Let's modern it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, let's 1990 it up a little bit. It's not 18.
Who do we got? Adrienne Barbeau and what's Harvey Keitel up to?
What's Harvey up to? Let's get him in this Argento film.
I can't believe Harvey Keitel. We'll get to that part of the movie, but I can't believe Harvey Keitel read the script and was like, "Yeah, I'll do that."
I mean, think about it, dude. Harvey Keitel, he's an actor. He's a pretty prolific actor, but this is also 1990, you know?
This is
not
right after Bad Lieutenant, though.
Yeah, and who directed Bad Lieutenant? Fucking Abel Ferrara.
And
yeah.
he was probably in his I want to work with some of the more fringe auteurs.
If you're fucking Harvey Keitel and Dario Argento asks you to be in a horror movie
that's true,
based on Edgar Allan Poe with another horror movie by George Romero.
He didn't even read the script.
He didn't need to read the script. He's like, I'll read The Black Cat and I'm going to come out here and act. He might not have even read The Black Cat.
Now, the first one, the first story, does not star Harvey Keitel, but it does star our vixen of the evening, Adrienne Barbeau.
The very luscious Adrienne Barbeau, I must say.
This segment's called The Facts in the Case of Mr. Valdemar.
Yeah.
Directed by George Romero. And before we go any further here, I have, based on the vibes I got in reading the reviews, a lot of the attitude generally is like, to the George Romero. And then for the Argento, it's like, mwah. Yeah, like it's like, that is much better than the first one.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
I don't know if I agree with that.
They're different.
They're different. They're different stories. So the case of Mr. Valdemar is about this wife, played by Adrienne Barbeau, and she's married to this very rich, sick, dying man named Mr. Valdemar, who's played by Bingo O'Malley.
Bingo O'Malley.
I just love the guy's name is Bingo. His name's Bingo.
I bet he's not Irish.
Nope. Not even a little bit. So she's married to Bingo, and he's a real dick, but he's on his deathbed. And he can't even, like, talk. He's just in constant pain. But the show opens with her at the stockbroker's place saying, hey, I need you to liquidate my husband's accounts. Here's his signature. And the stockbroker's like, I don't know. It seems like you're trying to take his money. And she's like, look, I was a flight attendant, and then he, Mr. Rich Man, came and took me away, right? And he's dying. This is his wishes. I'm getting his money. And the dude's like, okay, whatever. And so what turns out being the case, because like the guy calls to talk to him.
The facts in the case.
The facts in the case is he calls to talk to the old man to be like, to make sure she's not lying. And the old man's like, no, these are my wishes. Do as I say.
Turns out the old man's been hypnotized by her lover.
Hypnotized.
Played by not Andy Garcia.
It's Tandy Garcia.
His name is Rami Zada is the actor's name.
That's the only thing I've ever seen him in other than The Untouchables.
No, he was in Dark Justice. Exactly. All
right. So him and so Andy Garcia and Adrienne Barbeau, they're plotting against the husband, and whenever he's not under the he's hypnotized. It's this hypnosis thing, and so he's got like a weird metronome. This Randy Garcia. Rami Garcia. And so he's got a metronome that he's hypnotizing the old man with, but they're plotting to steal his money. So ends up happening, old man dies.
Old Bingo O'Malley. Bingo, you're dead.
Bingo, you're dead. So he's dead.
That's an alternative title. Bingo, you're dead.
But he's dead under hypnosis. And while he was under the hypnosis as alive, they could get him to say anything. They could ask him questions and he'd talk. While he was dead, he would do the same thing.
Well, yes, because he died when he was still under hypnosis.
Yes.
So that makes sense that you could still hear their subconscious voice trapped in the ether from their body, even though they're dead.
Yeah, of course. Science.
Sam Harris would have a field day with this one.
I don't know who that is, but I know he would.
Yes.
So they didn't realize this until they threw his corpse in a freezer, because they had to freeze his body because nobody could know he was dead for like 3 weeks until they got all the money.
And then he turned into the king from the Two Towers.
Yeah, and then he was like all worm-tongued and shit, you know, running around like, I'm going to get you. Well, while he's all hypnotized, they're like, he keeps talking to him saying there's the other ones are here and they want to get through. Like he's like leading up to saying there's other ghost realm demons. They're trying to come through his...
Is that what that was?
Yeah, kind of come through the connection that he has with this world. And guess what? That ends up happening.
And guess what? Adrienne Barbeau, the starlet vixen of the evening, she's dressed as a 1984 Chicago Cubs player in this movie.
She's real hot.
She's in a pantsuit. And Adam, what are your thoughts on hypnosis in general?
I've never been hypnotized for one. I would love to believe that I could hypnotize somebody and say, you're a chicken now. And they do it, you know, they do it. But I don't know. It's never happened to me. I'd like to think it is like it is in the movies.
They say you got to make yourself vulnerable.
I'm not vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not vulnerable at all. My guards are always up.
And here's the other thing about this movie. Now, they murder this. They murder the frozen man from Scrooge, right?
Well, first he like dies on his own. But then he's like this corpse that's talking, so they think he's still alive, even though he's in a deep freezer.
But doesn't she try to dig his grave in the backyard?
Yeah. I mean, she shoots him in the head for one, his dead body, but it doesn't work. and they go and dig a grave for him in the backyard. They're going to bury the body.
She comes and like insists that Andy Garcia help her dig the grave.
Yeah.
It's like, I hypnotized your husband. We're going to steal his money. You can't dig the grave.
But he's dead and he's talking. That's a scary situation.
Adam, have you ever
in.
demanded that a brunette woman dig a grave for you?
I don't have to talk about that. They go to dig the grave. Bingo comes back from the dead, but he doesn't come back from the dead. He's just he's a walking, talking zombie that's possessed by these other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they kill Adrienne Barbeau. She dies tragically, falls off the stairs in her fancy house, and then Randy Garcia runs away. But
Randy Garcia.
But the ghost Bingo tells him, they're coming for you now. And so he goes home, and then the ghosts, which are like, it shows ghosts in
And then
it.
Tom Atkins shows up.
They look real stupid. And so the ghosts like kill him because they pick the metronome up. There's a cool scene where they pick a metronome up like the ghosts do and stab it in his chest.
Yeah.
And then Tom Atkins shows up.
And Tom Atkins shows up. He's a cop in a fedora.
I love Tom Atkins. I love him in this movie because he's a cop in a fedora. And he gets there, he's like, thrill me. He doesn't say that, but he's thinking it. You know he's fucking thinking it. And so he goes up, and it turns out that old Randy Garcia...
He calls his partner Spanky.
He got ghostified, zombified too, but he's stabbed in the chest with a metronome. So he's like a zombie with a metronome sticking out of him, saying, make it stop. And then like Tom Atkins opens fire at the end.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, it's really straightforward. When
It's
you
very
put it like
straightforward.
That.
And really it's got some... interesting ideas. It felt very Outer Limits or Creep Show.
It felt like Creep Show. It felt like There's so many actors.
It was like kind of a morality tale, but a little more vague, I guess. I don't know. It was fine.
It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was
fine.
It was very like early 90s, late 80s Romero.
It's fine, Adam.
Okay, it's fine.
Check 1, 2, check. Oh, we're still rolling.
Can I not like talk about the movie? Anyways, so that's the first story.
That was the Romero one.
I'm glad it wasn't 2 hours or an hour and a half.
No, yeah.
Maybe they could have added more, but I don't think they needed it.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. And then we get to the Black Cat.
Now, the Black Cat is the one, as previously mentioned, stars Harvey Keitel.
Yep. Now, not only does it star Harvey Keitel, it stars Harvey Keitel in a badly fitting beret.
Yeah, the beret... We know he's a photographer because he has a beret on.
And was that why they put a beret on him? Or is Argento
I'm trying to
European?
figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. The only thing I think of on the berets, you got like Navy SEALs, the Green Berets.
Yeah, but they don't wear their berets like that.
Rusty Griswold.
When you look, I wear berets, but I don't wear a beret like that. He just wears it in a very
like one of those like
off-putting
French
way.
painter berets.
It's
not like a cool like you don't wear. Oh, you do wear a beret.
I do wear a beret.
Oh my god.
I'm a clown. I have a lot of outfits. I have quite a few berets, to be honest. But I don't wear them like
no
that.
No man should own more than one beret.
I have 3.
No
Shut
man
up.
should own one beret.
I have 3. Shut up. So he's a crime scene beret photographer.
Now, is that a little nod to the Pit and the Pendulum in the beginning scene there, Adam? I
don't know, but there's a scene where he's in a crime scene because he's a crime scene photographer, Harvey Keitel is. And in the middle of the room, there's a bisected female nude corpse.
That's been cut by a pendulum.
Bisected. That means cut in half. By a pendulum. Now, you don't realize this. Is she just cut down the middle, laying on a table, like her guts are separated right in the center, like her belly button is at the top.
You're like bisected curious?
Sure. And so, I mean, with that, yeah, she was hot and she was naked and she was dead. But the point is...
Bisected curious.
So she's just like cut in half. I'm like, this is a great start to a movie. Not only... is Harvey Keitel just wearing a fucking beret for some reason, but there's a hot broad cut in half. And then Harvey Keitel starts playing with like the machinery there, and then we see that it's a pendulum, because a pendulum starts swinging.
Yeah, it's like in the albino from Princess Bride's dungeon.
Exactly like that. But there's no albino there, but there is John Amos from Coming to America and Good Times. Good Times. And so he's like the cop.
Dynamite. That's Jimmy Walker.
It wasn't John Amos that said that. I'm about to check because I know that he was in Coming to America.
No, he's definitely the dad from Good Times.
He was in Die Hard too.
And he was in Die Hard 2.
And he was the dad from Good Times.
He was the dad from Good Times.
All right, I believe. I thought you were right.
Dynamite.
So John Amos is there, and like he's great in this role because he's just like this cop that he's not fazed by the brutality that he's seeing in front of him. He's kind of amused by it.
He's a seasoned cop.
He thinks it's pretty funny. Like the guy accidentally turns on the pendulum and he's like chuckling about it. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, no, you got to cope with your job somehow.
So then we go into the story of Harvey Keitel. He lives with his violinist girlfriend.
Wears a beret.
He's a photographer, as we mentioned, crime scene photographer.
He's a bit of a lush.
He's a bit of a drunk, and his girlfriend gets this cat, this black cat. She finds it, brings it home. The cat doesn't like him. He and the cat don't get along. So,
and the lady's all like, I don't know if this is a red flag or not. If your girlfriend's like, I like, it's a black cat, so those are rare because they're hard to find because they're affiliated with witches and people used to murder black cats.
Is that a red flag?
I don't know.
Dude, when girls start talking about witchy shit, I like it. Anywho, the black cat comes home. He don't like it. There's a mutual disrespect towards each other. Now, he's like a weird guy in a beret that like drinks tequila shots at a diner.
I'm on Team Cat.
You're on Team Cat. So how it goes, he talks to his editor, and his editor's like, your pictures of crime scene photography are very grotesque, and we like that, but we need some contrast. It's just not good enough. What kind of like artsy fartsy audience are they going for with the crime scene? I don't know. I mean, like
audience there.
He took a picture of a girl cut in half. Like that's money in the bank.
The crimes you're shooting are too gruesome. I need you to just take some pictures of larceny for a while.
Hey, can you just take some pictures of cat? So that's what he does. He takes the black cat, his girlfriend's cat, and decides to take pictures of it, and also decides to strangle it to death while taking pictures of it.
I'm on Team Cat.
Still on Team Cat. However, at this point, Team Cat is dead. And so then Harvey Keitel's girlfriend's all sad and butthurt because her cat's gone, and she blames Harvey. Why? Because he wears a beret.
And he's a drunk.
He sits around in the kitchen drinking out of a bottle of mezcal, just straight drinking mezcal.
Yeah.
And she's like, why do you be drunk? And he's like, I'll be drunk in my fucking house. It's a cat. Meow, meow, cat.
Yeah. And I gotta say,
he says meow meow.
I'd never thought of it before, but you have to be like a top tier drunk to be drinking mezcal straight out of the bottle.
Straight out of a fucking bottle.
In the kitchen.
You're
not even at a party, bro.
It's not tequila. It's fucking mezcal he's drinking. Like
he's like eating the worm for breakfast. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, this guy has problems.
He has problems. And then like his girlfriend's mad. She's like, you killed the cat. He's like, no, I didn't. And she's like, you killed the cat. He's like, no, I didn't. Slap. And just slaps her in the face.
I'm on Team Cat.
Yeah, totally on Team Cat still. So she decides to leave him. She's like, fuck this. I'm out of here.
He throws a shoe at that cat at one point.
Yeah, but then he kills it.
And I was like, who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly. Who throws a shoe? Anyways, so
next.
Let's just cut that one. So he goes to a bar after he's murdered the cat. And there's wait. Before he goes to the bar,
you didn't talk about Harvey Keitel's fog machine fever dream.
He has a dream. He has a drunken dream where a midget and a girl with a long nose show up and walk him down his staircase, and all of a sudden he's in medieval times.
This movie's really deep.
It's so weird.
Now, Adam, have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, walked outside, and realized you were in a village of medieval commoners and or peasants?
No, I have yet to do that.
Are these people, what are they, like druids or pagans or like just tree huggy shit like that? Like,
I just assumed they were British.
Okay.
Of some type.
They're just, yeah.
They're Celts. I don't fucking, like, what were they doing? They're partying and
they're white and from the north.
Yeah, the north, the west, is it the west? East, northeast. Totally from the east.
From like fucking Massachusetts.
Utah. I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of look like they were kind of Salem witch trial-y kind of people.
The thing takes place in Pennsylvania. That's northeast as far as I'm concerned. So he's having this fever dream where like his girlfriend's like dancing around on stage and they bring her a dead cat. He's like, who killed you, cat? And they're like, it was Rod. And so they take him and they like pull him up like he's William Wallace, like they're going to draw and quarter him, right? But they don't draw. Yeah. But they don't draw and quarter him. They stick a big old pike, just a big sharpened stick, underneath him and drop him, and the stick goes right up his asshole and out his mouth.
Yeah, I thought they were just gonna like Roman soldier Jesus the guy into the rib or whatever, but they stab him through the neck, through the mouth. Now, was this some sort of dream sequence? Was that a manifestation of like the guilt he felt, or was he being haunted by this evil returning?
No, it's guilt. It was guilt. I think it was a guilt.
But the cat comes back when we thought he was a goner.
He comes back the very next day. He goes to a bar with some blonde poofy hair broad, and she's like, "This cat, he came to see you." She's like, "Would you like to spend some time and look at this cat together?"
She did say that.
She did say that.
This is oddly alluring.
I know. I'm like, I'll look at the all day.
I want to look at cats with that blonde lady. Yeah. She serves me mezcal, and I go over there every Tuesday at 4:30. We play the NTN trivia game. And we stare at some cats, and she's a nice lady. She serves me mezcal
straight out the bottle. Like, here, drink this bottle of mezcal.
Oh, then we gotta go look at the cat.
Let's go look at this cat.
Is it time to go look at the cat?
So he's like, I don't want to look at this cat with you.
I don't know what's wrong with this guy.
Right. And she's like, look at the spot on the cat.
Which is something that happened in the dream.
It happened in the dream. So the cat that he's seeing looks exactly like his girlfriend's cat that he murdered. And he did totally cat murder.
My girlfriend had a cat like that.
And he's like, I don't want to see this cat. I'm out of here. And he leaves. And then the next scene immediately is him coming back to the bar.
So was he trying to
get away from the cat?
Like, is he trying to get the cat back to salvage his relationship, or is he just wanting to murder another cat?
So that's the question, right? Because he goes back and he gets the cat. Now, I've left out the fact that interspaced throughout all of this, his girlfriend is leaving him. She's like, he's a monster. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. He released a coffee table book of pictures of him murdering my cat.
Probably a good reason to leave.
It's totally good reason to leave.
Yeah. What happened to that last guy? We really liked him. Like, well, he published a snuff coffee table photography book of my cat being murdered.
Yeah. That's exactly what he did.
He was so nice, though.
He did intersperse pictures of the bisected woman and other dead
did I
bodies,
mention that he had mezcal for breakfast?
He drinks mezcal all day. And
Look, lady, have some self-respect. Get out of that relationship.
Well, she tries. And then when she gets home, or she's about to leave, and then Harvey shows up with a cardboard box full of cat that he received from the
single cat.
Yeah, from the broad from the bar. And so he opens the box. We're like, okay, is Harvey and the cat going to make peace? Is he making peace with this? And then he grabs a phone cord and wraps it around the cat's neck and proceeds to try to strangle the cat to death.
Let me jump to the end credits real quick. They do mention that no animals were harmed in the making of that movie.
Very big bold print.
And of all the movies I've ever seen, where I thought that perhaps that disclaimer at the end would be necessary, this is probably
top
tier.
Top tier of this is the one you should say that.
They didn't do that for Milo and Otis because they actually did murder those animals.
Oh, as we always say.
It's true.
But what
Japan had different standards for animal cruelty.
What was interesting about the end thing that we're talking about, it says no animals received physical or psychological harm. It says psychological.
Well, they didn't actually put the cat in that box.
They didn't
for an extended period of time.
They didn't actually strangle the cat with a telephone line.
Right. Well, and then bring it back to life because that would be the psychological horror.
Yeah, it's coming back from that. Let's let
it's physical results in psychological.
But so anyways, the girlfriend walks in and sees that, and she hits him in the back of the head with a pipe and takes the cat to run away and rescue it.
The old Clue weapon.
Yep. And
lead pipe. That's a good murder weapon.
And as she's running away with the cat, he's like, oh, did I do that? Oops. He's like, no! Like, he's so driven to murder this cat.
Again.
So he chases him down to the kitchen. The cat, she opens the window, lets the cat out.
What is his glitch, man? Like, see, okay, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. I watched this again tonight because the first time I tried to watch it, I was a little fucked up. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening in this movie at all. I understand it better now after the second viewing. But it's not necessarily a movie that's like warranted to watch it a second time to try to understand it.
Yeah.
But
just watch it
I
once.
had to for this horseshit show.
Take breaks.
Yeah, we took a lot of breaks. But yeah, I was just like, what is happening right here? And it's like, so far, let's just do a quick
recap.
So far, we have a drunk Harvey Keitel in a beret.
Yep.
That is a crime scene photographer drinking mezcal at diners.
Yep.
And like hellbent on murdering a cat, even after his harbinger dream sequence. Why the cat is probably someone you should not murder.
Yeah. And then he finds another cat, and he immediately wants to try to murder it.
But the cat the cat is the same cat.
I mean,
I think
theoretically.
No, I think like ethereally it is.
I mean, it could be.
It's a supernatural cat.
It could be a ghost cat.
It's like a fucking Pet Cemetery cat. Church. Church is back.
Church. It could be Church. Yeah. There's also a great scene. I mean, you got to think about like the life that Harvey Keitel's crime photographer leads.
That kite's really getting up there.
Because that
was Fred Gwynn in Pet Cemetery.
That's what that was. So not only does he watch bisected women, but like Tom Savini shows up and digs up a corpse and pulls all the teeth out of the corpse.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there to take pictures of that. And John Amos just loves it. He thinks it's great.
John Amos is a sick fuck in this movie.
He's fucking phenomenal. He's lovely. He's a lovely human being. I want to be friends with that guy.
He's one of those guys that's like, I have sick fantasies that I would like to live out, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to become a really good cop, a really good homicide investigator.
I'm just going to punish you for doing the things I want to do.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
So, I think he's the real hero in this movie.
He might be.
Think about it.
I mean, that's
but yeah, he's a sick individual, but he has it under restraint in his career.
Yes,
he can still. You know,
the badge,
he can still jack off to the box of teeth when he gets home.
Yeah, the badge is.
He's not going to do it on the clock.
He's like, I don't have to do all this fucked up shit because I can just laugh at all these other fuckers.
I'm just
going to
spank bank this box of teeth.
So he goes down the kitchen with his wife, and they're fighting over the cat. And so he picks up a butcher knife and just butchers his wife. Butchers her, hacks her up, hacks her in the face.
I gotta be honest, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. It totally took a dark turn because she was like, I'm leaving you. She didn't get a chance. She did leave him for good eternally to arrest or salvation, hopefully for her. But her body doesn't get it because he then promptly hangs her body against a wall and builds another wall in front of it in the house.
Oh, like in that Edgar Allan Poe stories.
Yes. In multiple Edgar Allan Poe. Now, in one of those stories, somebody was locked behind a wall while alive. In this story, somebody was locked behind a wall while dead. But yeah, so he has this
like Bad Ronald.
Yeah. Was it like Bad Ronald?
Well, the one that they're alive in the wall.
Yeah, well, that's like somebody living in the walls intentionally.
So yeah, she's locked in the wall, like in that movie, Bad Ronald.
But she's already dead.
But
he plans this whole plot to like put a photograph of her on a dummy and drive around in the rain with a fishing wire attached to its hand so he could have witnesses with his neighbors seeing that he didn't kill her. And then he goes off, but she's dead. And then like one of her, she's a violinist, and so one of her violin buddies is like, no, she's gone. What did you do with her? And he's like, fuck off, I'm Harvey Keitel. Mm-hmm. I'll kill you. And then he goes about living his life, but then the cops show up.
Yeah, and the cop happens to be the cops that he already works with on the job as the photographer of the crime scene. So we got John Amos is back.
He's back.
And
it's like he never left.
And then Dauber from Coach.
Dauber's there, a little. That's
not really him.
A little mini Dauber.
He has a Dauber haircut.
Totally looks. I didn't think about that till you just said he totally looks.
You know what he looks like? It might be the same guy. You know the scene in Killer Clowns from Outer Space where the blonde guy is watching the puppet show?
Yeah,
he looks like that guy.
That guy that gets eaten like that.
Yeah, where he's like, look, it's fucking slap. What's that? Punch and Judy style puppet show. And he's like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And you're like, I hope this guy gets killed by a killer clown.
And he certainly does.
Anyways, he looks like that guy. Might be the same one. I don't know.
So those cops show up at the house, and they go in, and Harvey's like, I didn't do nothing. And they're like, okay, we'll leave. And they came back. They're like, I want to sign an autographed copy of your cat murder book. And so they come back in, and they hear cats in the house.
All of this happens.
All this happens. And they hear cats in the house. They go check up in the top room, and they realize, oh, this wall is fake. Now, at some point, he did end up murdering a cat with a hacksaw, too.
He murdered multiple cats in this movie.
So he kills them with a hacksaw. But anywho, then like they find the body behind the wall, and the gore in this one's really good. Like all the special effects are great in this. It's all Tom Savini shit.
Yeah. So this one was a bit of a slog.
Yeah.
For a good 85-90% of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is this horse shit? This Argento masturbatory. Harvey Keitel drinks mezcal and
kills a couple cats.
Fucking druid fever dreams where he gets quartered by a pagan cult.
He gets ass paled. He doesn't get quartered.
Well, Yeah, they tie him up.
They drove a stake through his asshole and out his mouth.
And which was, to be fair, that scene is that draws you back in quite a bit.
It does.
But the last, I don't know, 10 minutes of this movie totally redeems itself.
It's absolute mayhem. He kills cops. He's handcuffed to cops while dragging corpses around. There's people coming. He's in a hurry. He's Harvey Keitel.
What's behind the wall?
There's his dead girlfriend, half eaten by weird, overgrown fetus cats living in her belly. I don't know why the cats still looked fetal. If they were cat babies, they would be cats.
Because it's a spooky movie about zombie cats, Adam.
You're right.
Let's
it doesn't
give
matter.
Tom Savini the benefit of the doubt here.
He did beautiful, beautiful work with these zombie cats eating this lady from the inside out. And then Harvey Keitel ends up like trying to climb out the window while handcuffed to a dead John Amos. And then
Is he dead?
Yeah, John Amos got killed by him. He killed John Amos. He killed both the cops.
So now he's hanging from his bedroom window or whatever.
He's hanging from his bedroom window, handcuffed to another man hanging below him. But guess what? There's a cord around his neck, and he's hung. He's hung out to dry.
Roll credits straight to the disclaimer about how no animals were harmed in the making of the
Hey,
film.
you
But
know
was
when
John Amos or Harvey Keitel's stunt person harmed?
They might have been, but they get paid for that. When we strangled those cats, they were fine. They were okay with it. They liked it.
They do like when you kind of pet their neck a little bit. Pick them up by their scruff. You can still do that.
So yeah, Two Evil Eyes. I give it a.
It's fine.
Steady. I would give it a solid middle of the road. Like if I had like a top tier and a lower tier, like a bottom tier, it'd be right in the middle of that.
I'd say if you're a
Dead center.
Argento and or Romero completionist, it's not a total waste of time.
I say for Romero and Argento movies on their own, this is still middle of the road. There's worse Argento, there's worse fucking Romero, and there's better. And this is just dead center for all of them.
It's a very adequate episode of the Not For Everyone
It's a very
podcast.
middling film, yeah.
My name is Snobby Bobby. I think that's going to wrap it up for this evening. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
At Pinball Bobby. The show's on Instagram at Not For Everyone Podcast, at NFE Podcast on Twitter. Check out my side show.
He's got another show.
I'm a regular contributor on that one time I was abducted by aliens.
Yeah, he is.
And we do semi-weekly episodes. They have me on to talk about cryptids.
Talk to him.
Among other things.
About the werepig.
I'll see if there's any research on the werepig.
I can send you articles.
All right, cool. And then, happy Thanksgiving, I guess.
Hey,
Halloween.
follow me on Trump Card. Check out my band, Trump Card. Now streaming on Spotify and Apple and all that other shit.
Also, do me a favor. I haven't asked
Trump
for this in a
Card.
while. Just share the show. Just share it to people that might like it.
Happy Halloween, babies. Happy birthday, Bobby.